What's up, Chris? Sky. But all of these pavers are from one manufacturer. This is their catalog right here. The manufacturer of these pavers is a manufacturer I use on a lot of my jobs. It just looks fake. It doesn't look like a natural color blend. Yeah, like if you kept going far enough, it would just go to a point. Be like a triangle patio. Ready to mark and cut, dude? A lot of cuts. What do you think of the cut, bud? So Benny finished up that whole first course. It's looking good. This is all Teco block. If you guys watch my channel, you know I use a lot of their product too. Dude, you ready for this, man? One finger trick, dude. Ready. One finger width trick. Like one of those so as you've seen, I lay out the concrete blocks, or if it's a block fire pit with a border, I lay the border out, and that's how I mark my circle. Now I know that you could probably put a pin and use a string and a pencil for a lot of situations, but sometimes that circle isn't exactly a perfect circle depending on the fire pit option you have or the border option you have. The best thing in my mind always is to lay it out exactly how it's going to be and then trace around it. I've done a stake and a string trick a few times, and you have to go in and actually like mess with it a little bit. Even though it's a perfect circle, the fire pits you're working with usually ain't a perfect circle. So accounting for it will kind of get you in a bad situation sometimes. Time to cut.
Time to cut.
Time to cut. So now that the line is scored and all the pavers and everything around it is wet down, we're good to start cutting. And I get questions sometimes in these videos why I pay Ben to just sit there and use the hose while I'm cutting instead of hooking it to the water on the saw. One, the water attachment for the saw hasn't worked in a while, and even when it does, it's a lot of extra work to have to put it down and shut the water off, put it down, pick it up, turn the water on. It just takes a while to mess with that kind of stuff. And if I'm done cutting and I want to rinse stuff off, I have to go shut the water off, unhook it from the saw, then put the attachment on, water everything down, and then hook it back up to the saw. It's just much more time efficient to have him watering the blade and stopping when I'm done and then washing things off in the meantime. Little more than halfway. Coming out real nice. Got just a few more cuts to make, but we wanted to give it a quick clean up, take a break for a minute. Let's do it. So there's a lot of ways you can go about cutting a circle like this, and there's a lot of different saws and options you can choose from. I kind of actually find it pretty crazy when I look into the hardscape industry. You know, you'd think that everyone kind of uses the same thing, which they do. They use it like along the same lines, the same thing, but everybody has their favorite saws, how they feel. Everyone has their own preferences on how they would go about a task. So depending on who you work for or who you work with, you may be using a different kind of manufacturer's saw because you like certain things over it. And you may be cutting a circle like this in a different way. You may leave them in and choose to use a smaller saw, or a smaller blade saw, I should say, so that you can keep them in place and not have to pick them up and then do what I'm doing with this. But personally, I've found that no matter what you do with a circle like this, even if you are able to cut in place with a small saw, you end up disturbing the bedding stone underneath it to a point where you have to lift the cut up, put chipstone underneath it, and reset it anyway. So if you're going to have to pick the paver up and reset it anyway, in my opinion, I'd rather use a bigger saw with more horsepower that's going to get the cut done quicker. So that's just kind of my preference and opinion. But, you know, this steel TS420, I've mentioned it before, but I've pretty much my entire career used this TS420. And it's so comfortable in my hand because of all that time and experience with it that I can do these things a little bit easier. But some people prefer different saws, and it doesn't really matter. It's all about the end result, if you ask me.
My new pants are soaked.
Oh, no.
They're soaked, dude. Can't believe it, man.
Benny, hit me with your real thoughts. How'd I do?
It's a freaking circle.
Hey.
You know?
Even those little battery saws, dude, that like the 9-inch blades, they work, dude. They're not bad, but they just ain't got the goose, bro. They ain't got the goose. Ben is getting the edge prepared for some concrete. I'm gonna continue on this sitting wall over here. So I'm basically gonna be cutting a corner that I can bounce off of. There we go. Oh, this is a cut one. I wonder if it's exactly what I need. Can you imagine? No, it's a little short. I was gonna try to match that bottom joint, but probably be able to use this right here. I'll send that. That plant's gonna hide that corner. It's really not worth cutting that. Wow, that plastic, dude, just shredded. Oh, talk about a mess, bro. That stuff just gets everywhere. Yeah, look at it. It's just falling apart, dude. Oh, that's bad.
Blow it.
That's really bad, dude. Yeah, but blow it where? He says, just blow it away from us. Don't matter. Oh, I'm dropping it everywhere, man. That's a nightmare. It's freezing out. I gotta be honest with you. 35. Dude, throwing discs later is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Our game will be tested. This water is not warm. Holy crap. Oh, dude. Wow, dude, that's a nightmare. Imagine that happening on the patio, dude, in the joints and stuff.
Or just showing up at some investor's house.
Windy day, dude. This stuff just gets scattered on your job site, man. You got the entire crew, dude. You stopped all production. We have an issue. There's still some with stuff on it though, man. I don't know. All right. Maybe I can get this corner out after I get some block off it. Oh, you know what? This one's gonna work out good on that side. Yep, that's better. Oh, that worked out nice. Be able to glue that in. Recess that side in as well. Just walk in with the wheelbarrow, not talk to him, put some concrete in it, leave. Hey, I need your help, man. I think this is somewhat loose enough for you to sneak this thing out for me. You ready?
Which one? This one right here?
Yep. Slide it that way towards you. Watch my fingers. Hold on. All right, you ready?
You have to push it towards you. Oh, maybe not.
There it is. Bang, bang, pal. Thank you. It's probably gonna be a setback like that. I'm gonna have to trim off just a little bit there. Ready to crete, dude?
Just about.
Those wheelbarrows are blue.
Got it. Very blue.
That's good concrete, man. This is what they sell here at Camosse for their pre-mixed concrete. It's Pro Masonry products. Good mix though.
Yeah, really good mix.
Benny, nice job on the concrete, dude.
Thanks, man.
Wall looks pretty good, man. Like real good. I like the curve.
It's nice doing border first.
Yeah, you just lay it in,
Get
dude.
keep that whole line going the whole same way.
Yeah. A lot of people would build the wall first, and you're just fighting yourself at that point, dude. Lay the pavers, cut it without any wall in your way, and then tuck it right up against the pavers. That's the way to go. Ben's gonna start capping the wall. I'm gonna start installing the fire pit. And we got about 20-30 minutes before we leave and go play disc golf. I have to beat Ben up tonight, round at Buffinville. Good morning. It's another day later here. Yesterday was freezing. It's pretty cold today, but it's significantly better. Significantly better?
50 degrees is gonna feel hot today
Yep.
compared to yesterday.
It's gonna be nice,
Might
dude.
even be taking my hoodie off.
I don't know if I'm gonna get at that point, but shorts are definitely back on. We're a little bit short on the wall block over here. I'm gonna need another layer. I gotta make a corner right there. Finish that, make another corner. Ben's chasing me with the cap. He's got the corner split, and one already set in. But I'm gonna finish building this fire pit before I do anything else. And within the next freaking hour or so, dude, this top area is gonna be pretty close to done.
Very close.
Let's get into it, dude.
Let's do it.
One more row. One more row. Looking good, Buck. Looks good. One more row to go on the fire pit. You could put 4. It's a bit high if you're sitting by the fire in like a chair. The warmth is just a little bit above your waist, which kind of is, I don't know, it depends on who you are, I guess, but we're just doing 3 rows. This is the manufacturer that Camosse sells a lot of their products, from fabric to glue, cleaners, a lot of stuff. But SRW products, it's just a concrete adhesive, retaining walls, pavers, concrete, natural stone, fire pits. Just to lock all the blocks together. Freaking glue balls, dude. Get off of me. Get off of me. Get off of me. Get off of me. So these blocks are designed to be split on the sides, and some are split more than others, some don't pop right, so you always got to grab a hammer and a chisel. Just kind of clean it up a little. Not too bad. Kind of like it actually. We were gonna go with a gray block, but we decided to match the wall. I think it was a better idea. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I just want to say thanks again to the Camosse Masonry Supply family for giving me the opportunity to build the display. I'm sure that there was a lot of other people that could have done it and would have done it. So it was definitely a privilege to be able to build this because it's so viewable from the street, and it just it really gives Genest the ability to show off their products in a lot of different ways within one small area. So the Camosse guys can show the the customers that come through the different color tones and the different options that they have to offer very easily. And, while they're walking around looking at everything, they can see the craftsmanship and, really take in what they could use those materials for at their own house. What do you think about it, Dad?
A1.
Yeah, buddy.
A1, bud. A1. You do great work. I think it's, you can't pick from where you can't pick from any.
Yeah.
It's all laid out right there. The way your designs, your colors. It's beautiful.
Yeah, gonna be easy to sell, right?
Easy to blow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
People just gonna walk up there, I want that.
Yep.
I want that.
All right. How much? Tell me where you want to put it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's wonderful.
Well, we are done from right there up. Got some stuff cleaned up. It's always nice to get your job site clean as you go. Now this wall is a single-sided wall. Unfortunately, the way that we had to display it, you're gonna see the backs popping out, but people can understand the point. Now we're off to the last two different paver styles, and we got one more wall to build. That's what Ben's working on over here. We have this paver, it's called Katahdin, and that same kind of style paver they make a circle kit out of, and that's what we're doing at the end. We're making a circle, and wherever that circle ends, we're gonna mesh these squares into that circle with those pavers. So before we start laying these ones, we gotta figure out where the circle is gonna land and build our wall up. And once the wall is built, we'll be able to screed and lay the circle and then mesh the in-between. It's gonna take a little bit of figuring and thinking and working with what we got, but we'll make it happen. We just got some prep work to do. We'll probably do that all on time lapse. So let's just keep moving.
Benny, keep up the good work, brother. Looking good. Right. Radio.
See you later, Pops.
All right, kid.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
like
good,
it?
Good job again. Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. It's definitely going to, like it pops. Like you said, as soon as you drive in, you'll look over and say, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, on the edge of the road. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Dad. We'll see you later.
All right, kiddo.
Have a good day.
You too. Love you.
Drive safe. Love you. Alright, we're sitting here on lunch break, but this is the Genest catalog. There's a few things that'll change next year, I'm sure, like the color. It's not meadow anymore, it's summer blend. But this is the circle kit they sell. I guess you can make it really any size you want, but we're gonna be going for the 7-foot circle. So it says 4 layers per 7-foot circle. That's what we're gonna be going with. And it gives you all the rings, it gives you what pieces you need. It tells you what the pieces are called so you can identify them on the pallet. And it even shows a little turtle dude on it. You see it?
I do see it, yeah. Ornamental turtle.
Explain it and then we'll be like, we'll see how it lays out.
See how it lays out.
The Paul Uliberry for hardscaping, bro.
Yeah.
If there's anybody on the channel that knows disc golf, dude, too, like that, they'll understand that reference, bro. And if you do, make sure you let us know in the comments if you know what that reference is, because that's hilarious, dude. We'll see how it lays out. So to figure out where we need to put this circle kit and where I need to lay the wall block, I need to find my center point. So that's what I'm using this metal stake for. It's going to be my center point, but it's also going to be my grade height. So what Ben was doing was setting in the screed rails so we could make a mark on our pin, top of paver height, because not only do we need it to be the center, but we need it so that we can find the height of what 2 wall block and a cap will be, so that we can get the pits right and make sure the pavers hit the top of the wall right, as well as the radius on the cap. So There's a lot to kind of take in there, but what I did was just kind of took my time. I knew that that concept was going to work with the pin, and it's just a matter of getting the base stone right, checking it as you go multiple times. A lot of the times, compacting a couple lifts to make sure the base is strong for your wall block. And in the meantime, Ben was setting the border and making sure it looked good so that he could mark it out and get ready to cut it. And we just kept moving along. We're coming to an end on this display, so let's see what Benny's got. You know, projects like this just really make me remember why I even got into this trade to begin with. And it's just so cool to be able to be so creative with something so permanent. You know, what I sometimes forget about what I'm doing because I do it so much. But when you go into a property or somewhere, anywhere really, and you build something like this, you're putting something that's going to last 30, 40 years if maintained correctly. And it's just, it kind of goes over the head of the installers sometimes. You don't think about it like that because once you leave, but people live with the things you're building for decades. And it's just such a cool trade, and I'm so happy that I'm in it, and I can't ever imagine not being in it. Nice job, dude. So Ben got that done. I got 3 blocks laid. So this level is the height of a paver. So we're going to use that as our reference. So that's our 1/8 of a slope. Rested on our screed pipe. And we're about 1/4 of an inch higher than the cap over there to account for compaction. So that is how we got our height. We got it to grade. And then we're putting a 9-foot circle in this area instead of 7. The way that it laid out, the 9-foot's gonna look better. It's about a inch thick stake, so we're gonna take a 1/2 inch off of it to get our dead center. And our cap's right at 54, which is 4.5 feet. And with that extra 1/2 inch, that'll be our gap between the circle tip. So we just got to make sure as we go that we stay at that 54-inch mark around that whole area, and our circle should fit in there nicely. Hey, well done. So I've been doing hardscaping and landscape construction for the past 8 years now, and I've been doing strictly hardscaping for the past, I want to say, 5 years now. And in total, I've been basically working in the industry of hardscape and landscaping for 16 years. I'm 34 right now, and I started when I was 18, I would say, like really hardcore. But I really started working when I was 16 doing landscaping, somewhat part-time. I actually dropped out of high school and got right into a family business. And from there on out, I've just been learning everything I could about the landscape industry, and that eventually led me into the hardscape industry. And I know a lot of people that watch my videos are heavily into the landscaping, and they're trying to get more into hardscaping. So that's why it's just something I'm mentioning, because a lot of hardscapers have come from landscaping. People who have done landscaping for 5, 8, 10 years, and they really want to change and make a move in a different direction in their career. So this wall block is designed to have a setback. And this lip right here, you see, it's actually the bottom. You flip it over and it locks into the wall block under it, and it gives it that 1-inch setback. I'm building this straight up and down, so you can still use this block to do that, but you got to break the edge off. So like I was saying, a lot of the guys in hardscaping started in landscaping, and they just did it for a while and they wanted to change. That's basically what happened with me. I started off when I was 16. I actually dropped out of high school, and that was just for reasons that I think there's a lot of young men that have a hard time in school staying focused and just even having the interest of being there. Their heart is more towards a trade. They're going to be somebody that ends up working with their hands, and those are the kind of things they're more interested in, not book knowledge. I think it's still good to be able to get through high school, but I just couldn't get through it. I just wasn't that guy. But anyway, I dropped out of high school and I started working for my family's landscape company, and I was mowing lawns, doing regular landscape maintenance like cleaning yards, edging, weeding, mulching, trimming and pruning bushes, just all that stuff. And I did that for a long, long time. I got really good at it. I worked for my family's business for a while. I moved on to another company that was a lot bigger. I got to grow in my career. I was able to kind of move up the ranks, per se. I got to a point where I was running a crew, and then I was managing a bunch of people, and I was doing all that the same kind of work, but more of a crew leader perspective. And I kept moving on, and I got to a point where I was doing a lot of landscape construction, meaning I was grading, I was spreading loom and doing lawn installs, I was doing a lot of plantings, things that weren't hardscape involved, but also like property construction involved. But the more I got into the landscape construction and did that kind of work, I started getting a lot more interested into the hardscaping. And at that point, I had done patios and smaller hardscaping projects here and there throughout the time I was landscaping, but never like full bore, just straight hardscaping. But I started getting a lot more interested in that during like my mid-20s. And I'm 34 now. When I was 26 is when I started basically making the switch over to doing mostly hardscaping. And while I was doing that, I did a lot of landscape construction as well, until about 4 or 5 years ago when I started really focusing on just doing hardscapes. And that's basically when I started filming for YouTube as well. Back in 2021 is when I started filming for YouTube, but like 2020, the end of 2019, I was really into the hardscaping, and it's just taken off since. I just absolutely love this trade. Every project I do, I learn something, multiple things that I can apply towards the next project. And that's what's so addicting about this trade, in my opinion, is that the more projects you do, it just makes you want to do even more projects so you can put your skills to use and to the test. Good morning, everybody. We worked until it was very dark last night. Kept moving on that little circle kit, but we're back here. It's Saturday. Camosse's closed, so I had to bring my skid steer in order to move all these pallets when we finish, so that I can be done with this project. But the circle's coming out pretty cool. Coming out pretty good. That shadowing you're seeing right there, those ones are a little bit high. I gotta hit those down. But it's coming along nicely, and it seems like the wall was built pretty dang close, so I don't think we'll have any issues with the cap. I was like, what did Benny forget? Nice memory, dude, or else you would have been fronting me some loom and mulch. Alright, bud. Low and slow. Manifolds are leaking in that truck. But anyway, we're gonna keep going on this. It is pretty cool that Genest has a circle pack, because not many manufacturers are pushing that anymore. And I wouldn't say that Genest is pushing it either, but it's cool that they're putting it on display here. And it is a common question that these masonry supply yards get. You know, a lot of customers do ask about circle kits and things like that, because there is a select market of people that like that style. So Ben's getting topsoil. We're not going to be able to seed it because it's too cold this time of year, but we're going to at least be able to backfill most of that trench, cover up the concrete. A little bit of loam over here, and then he's getting some bags of mulch too, and we'll just mulch this area, and that'll leave it looking nice for the rest of the fall and into the spring, at which point we're going to be back here to poly sand all the joints. We'll throw some grass seed down and then make it look real nice for the entire next year. Got a little block right here that is going to get thrown out anyway, so that's what I'm going to be cutting on. It all worked out really good, guys. The measuring, taking your time, it worked out good. The gap's right, the height's right, radius is right. Pretty happy about this one for sure. So I laid one in, I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to cut these two to fit, and then when I put two pieces next to those, I'm going to cut this one as well. So these two pieces I'm cutting, I'm going to cut both sides so it has that same angle on each one. If you keep making the same angle cut, it almost like starts to fan open as you go. You don't want to do that. Now if you can see this, usually when you cut something like that, you're gonna have a part that pops out. So you just go back, mark that. Now you can see it meshes in really good. It's done, everybody. It's Sunday. I just came here to take this video, and I'm gonna give everything a nice little power washing. Get all the dirt footprints off, a little bit of haze from cuts and everything like that. And we're good until the spring. We did not polymeric sand, and we're not gonna, because it's just too cold at night for poly to set right. So I'm gonna walk through all the materials we used here, throw the names of it up on the screen. That wall block you're looking at is called Diamond Straight, and that's the wall cap they give you, and that color is granite. That circle kit is just called the Katahdin Circle Kit, and the pavers that border it are just called Katahdin, so they match pretty nicely. This is what we use a lot of times for our border. If you've been watching my channel, this is our outer border we use. I filled that whole area in with concrete, and that will cure a lot lighter than that. It's going to end up matching that cap pretty close when it lightens up a lot. But the circle is definitely pretty cool. So the border brick that we used on all these spots is called Eastern Bay, and it's got rough tumbled edges. I wouldn't say tumbled, but wavy. Tumbled would mean that they tumbled the paver and the edges kind of got broken or beat in. That's not the case. They just have wavy edges. And these two walkway examples are the same stone as that border stone. It's Eastern Bay, and that's the granite blend color. That's the summer blend color, formerly known as meadow. It's now called summer. And I think these walkways, the running bond walkways around a curve with the soldier course, look really good. That's an easy walkway to sell right there. This is called Jordan Bay. They're 16-inch by 16-inch squares, and you can run them however you wanted. Some people run them like with a four-way almost. They just run them right on top of each other. That's one way to do squares. This is the other. You just offset them, and then you do running joint lines from the opposite direction. And now as we come over here, these two examples are called Wyndham Ridge. Again, this is summer blend, and that's the granite blend, but a very, very clean looking paver. I'm a big fan. I've used it once in the granite blend, and I'd like to use it some more. So those are staples for Genest, I believe. Wyndham Ridge is a big selling paver for them. Then coming into the next two examples, this is the smaller three-piece pattern that they sell, more for like a walkway, or even for someone that likes the busier look, like more joint lines. This is called Sebago or Sebago, whatever you want to call it. Tomato. And again, summer blend, granite blend. They have two other color tones that are a little bit special order, and we didn't put any of them on display. These are their main colors they push here. So I've never used Sebago or Sebago before, but I wouldn't mind trying it, to be honest with you. I think it's a really clean looking paver. I would use it for a walkway. I wouldn't use it for a patio personally, but that just depends on preference. Everyone's got different taste. And finally, to save the best for last, which you guys have seen plenty of times on my channel, the Grand Katahdin. Now this is the 3-piece design that's in the middle of the sizes here. Smaller than Wyndham Ridge, bigger than Sebago, in the middle. But the other thing that's really cool and unique about it is that they have wavy edges, making it look more like a cobblestone. It was a fun time, super fun and creative, you know. They gave me the freedom to really do what I see fit to be best, and you know, it worked out pretty good, I think. So those are all the pavers. I'd love to know what you guys all think about it in the comments, what your favorite part of this display was, what you might want at your own house. I think it's cool that we live in a time where there's a lot of manufacturers, and each manufacturer makes a lot of different styles, and you can really be creative in this industry now, in this age, and it's a blessing, really. You know, we're blessed to have all these different things to build with as compared to many previous generations. So you can get creative with any manufacturer out there. You know, it doesn't come down to the product at the end of the day. It comes down to the one who's visualizing the product, and then also the one that's actually putting the product in. You got to have a good eye for it, but you know, even if you got a good plan, you need to have a good, proper execution of that plan. You can draw this out on a piece of paper, but installing it is a totally different thing. We live in a generation where people lift up the architects more than the builders. I don't quite agree with that. Coming up with plans is easier than executing plans. So that is just the generic round fire pit Genest offers. They have it in a couple color tones. Earth blend is what that's called. 4-inch block, 44 inches exterior, 30 inches interior, with just a basic steel insert. And the wall is called Highland wall. 3 different size wall block, and you can lay them at a good radius, as you can tell. It's a one-sided wall, but really nice looking. That color again is earth blend to match the fire pit. That wall cap is just the regular Genest wall cap, and it's an earth blend to match the wall. I feel like I'll always be in this business, so it's all about relationships. That's something I've learned as a business owner, and even before I started on my business, you gotta have good relationships with people at your material supplier. Everywhere you go, really. That's what good business is good relationships. But anyway, I think that's what got me the job, and I really appreciate it. Big shout out and thank you to Genest for giving me the opportunity, for also making really good product, and a really big shout out to Camosse. Thanks again for the opportunity, to all of you. And that's it for this one. You guys know the deal. Until the next video, God bless. Peace.